I had worked the night shift at the Aurora Sky Lounge for almost 3 years, serving drinks to people whose watches cost more than my yearly salary, watching them laugh easily while my own life felt frozen in place. The city outside, the glass walls glittered with wealth, but none of it ever seemed meant for me. That night was different from the moment she walked in. She did not arrive with noise or entitlement. She arrived with gravity. The air itself seemed to pause when the billionaire alien woman entered the lounge, tall and poised, her skin carrying a faint, iridescent shimmer that only those from beyond Earth possessed. Aliens had lived among us for decades by then, but few were wealthy, and fewer still carried the unmistakable authority of someone who owned fleets, worlds, and corporations that spanned star systems. She sat alone at the corner table, overlooking the city, and asked for nothing but water. I served her with the same practiced politeness I gave everyone else, though my hands trembled slightly. Her eyes followed me as I turned to leave, and then she spoke my name. I froze because I had never told her my name. "You look tired," she said softly, not unkindly. I laughed awkwardly and replied that tired was just part of the uniform. She smiled, a subtle expression that felt ancient and knowing. When she finished her water, she placed a folded note beneath the glass, along with a credit chip. "This is for you," she said. I tried to refuse, explaining that tips were already included for VIP guests. She shook her head and met my eyes. "This one is personal." After she left, disappearing into a private lift that led straight to the sky docks, I finally looked at the chip and nearly dropped it. It was more money than I had ever seen in my life, enough to erase my debts and then some. My heart raced as I unfolded the note, expecting a simple message. Instead, the words written inside made my breath stop. "You are not who you think you are, and neither am I. If you want the truth, come to these coordinates at dawn." Signed only with a symbol I did not recognize, glowing faintly even on paper. I did not sleep that night. The note lay on my table, staring at me like it was alive. I read it again and again, hoping the meaning would change, but it did not. "You are not who you think you are." Those words echoed louder than the city traffic outside my apartment. At dawn, against every instinct screaming at me to stay away, I followed the coordinates. They led me beyond the city, past abandoned industrial zones, to a landing platform I did not know existed. She was already there, standing beside a sleek alien craft that hummed with restrained power. "You came," she said, as if she had never doubted I would. I asked her what the note meant, why she had chosen me, and how she knew my name. She listened patiently, then gestured for me to sit. "Because you saved my life once," she said. I stared at her in disbelief, telling her she must be mistaken. She shook her head again, that same calm certainty. "You do not remember because your memories were sealed." She explained that decades ago, during a covert evacuation of an alien research colony, a human child had been rescued from a catastrophic energy event. That child was me. My biology, she explained, had been altered to survive, infused with alien genetic structures designed to adapt and evolve. "You were hidden on Earth for your protection," she said, "and I was assigned as your guardian." I laughed bitterly, calling it a cruel joke. Her expression darkened. "I am worth more than entire planets," she said quietly. "I do not joke." She offered to show me proof, but warned that once I saw it, my life would never return to what it was. I thought of the lounge, the endless nights, the smallness of my world. I told her I was ready. Inside her ship, the walls responded to her presence, lighting up with flowing symbols and images. She placed her hand against a crystalline console, and a holographic projection filled the space. I saw images of a younger version of myself, floating within a containment field, surrounded by alien scientists. One of them was her, younger yet unmistakable. You were designated as a bridge species prototype, she explained, a being capable of uniting human intuition with alien perception. The project was shut down when rival factions attempted to weaponize you. She saved me, erased my memories, and ensured I would grow up human. I felt anger rise, mixed with awe and fear. You decided my life for me, I said. Yes, she replied, and I would do it again. She told me the tip was not charity, but compensation. The note was a test. I needed to choose knowledge over comfort. Your abilities are awakening, she said. That is why I found you now. She warned me that powerful entities were already searching. The galaxy was shifting, alliances breaking, and symbols like the one on the note were resurfacing. You are one of them now, she said. Whether you accept it or not. I returned to Earth changed. The city felt smaller, quieter, like a stage set after learning what lay behind the curtain. Strange things began happening. I could sense emotions before people spoke, predict outcomes seconds before they occurred. Dreams flooded my sleep, memories that were not mine and yet felt deeply personal. She remained in contact, guiding me carefully, never pushing. But the danger grew closer. One night, my apartment was searched while I was away. Nothing was taken, but a symbol was left behind, carved into the wall. The same symbol from the note. She told me it was a summons. They know who you are now, she said. I asked her why she was helping me, beyond duty or guilt. She was silent for a long moment. Because you are my greatest failure and my greatest hope, she finally said. She offered me a choice. Stay on Earth and live a short, hunted life. Or leave with her and learn what I was meant to become. At sunrise, I stood once more on the landing platform. The city glowed behind me, familiar and fragile. I thought of the life I had lived, the man I had believed myself to be. Then I thought of the note, the tip, and the truth hidden inside it. I stepped onto the ship. She nodded once, a gesture of respect. As we lifted into the sky, she told me my story was only beginning. That the galaxy did not need another conqueror. It needed someone who remembered what it meant to be human. The billionaire alien woman had given me a tip that night. But what she truly gave me was my future. And the shock inside that note was not the truth of who I was. It was the realization that I finally had a choice. The ship's engines hummed with a sound that seemed almost alive, vibrating through the floor and into my chest. I watched the city shrink below, the skyscrapers glinting like stars trapped in glass. The air inside the craft carried a faint metallic scent, mixed with something sweet and unearthly. She did not speak for a long time, letting the silence settle around us like a protective blanket. Finally, she turned to me, her eyes reflecting the cosmos outside the window. "You are ready," she said. I felt a knot of fear twist inside me. I thought I was ready when I stepped on this ship before. But now I realized that readiness was an illusion. There was no turning back. She extended her hand, and I placed mine in hers. The connection was immediate, a surge of energy passing through me that left my hair standing on end. Visions flashed behind my eyes, not memories, but possibilities. I saw myself leading fleets of ships, negotiating between alien governments, and walking through planets that no human had ever set foot on. And then I saw darkness, wars fueled by greed and envy, worlds burning, and my hands stained with consequences I did not want to bear. I gasped and pulled away. She held my gaze, unwavering. "The path you take will shape the galaxy," she said. "Every choice you make from this moment will ripple across star systems." I wanted to scream, to tell her it was too much. That I wanted a life that was simple and safe. But I knew deep down that life had never been safe for me. And it had never been simple. I nodded, silently accepting the burden. Our first destination was a neutral outpost on the edge of the Othean Rift, a region controlled by a coalition of alien species with complex and fragile alliances. The billionaire alien woman explained that this was where I would meet my first test. I asked her what kind of test. She smiled, faintly amused. The kind that decides whether you survive your own potential. I shivered. Days passed in hyperspace, the stars stretching into lines of white. During this time, she trained me. Not in combat, though she did show me weapons that could tear through starship hulls. Not in politics, though she explained the web of galactic diplomacy with brutal clarity. She trained me to trust my instincts, to read energy signatures, to anticipate danger before it arrived. I felt my human mind struggling to keep up with the alien precision of thought she expected. Sometimes I failed, and she would shake her head. I would feel small and insignificant. But then she would place her hand on my shoulder, and I would feel the surge of potential she always believed I had. By the time we reached the Othean Rift, I could sense things no human should be able to. Ships moving in hidden space lanes, conversations through telepathic threads, intentions before words were spoken. It was intoxicating and terrifying. The outpost itself was massive, a swirling city of lights and gravity fields suspended in space. Ships of every imaginable shape docked and departed, leaving trails of colored plasma in their wake. The billionaire alien woman led me to a private chamber where a council waited. I recognized some species from my visions, and others were entirely new. They regarded me with curiosity, suspicion, and in some cases, barely concealed fear. "You have come," their leader said, his voice like grinding stone. "We have been expecting you." I took a deep breath, remembering her lessons. "I am who I am," I said. "Not just human, not just alien, but both." The council exchanged glances. The tests would begin, they said. Each of us stood, and one by one, we faced challenges designed to probe our morality, strategy, and resolve. I navigated simulations that tested my loyalty to species I had never met. I negotiated with holographic leaders threatening war. I confronted visions of myself making impossible choices, and I passed. Or at least I survived. But the final test was not in a simulation. It was real. A rogue faction attacked the outpost without warning, cloaked ships slipping past patrols. The council panicked, sending emergency signals and defensive commands. I felt the surge of my abilities awaken fully. I anticipated their movements before they acted. I redirected energy flows, deactivated weapons aimed at civilians, and led the Council's forces with uncanny precision. The billionaire alien woman watched silently, her eyes unreadable. When the battle ended, the rogue ships gone and the outpost intact, I felt exhaustion settle into my bones. The Council approached, no longer with suspicion. They bowed, an act of respect in their culture. "You are ready," they said. I turned to her, expecting praise. But she said nothing. Instead, she handed me a small, translucent device. "This is your command key," she said. "With it, you have the authority to mobilize fleets, access intelligence, and shape alliances." I held it in my hand, feeling the weight of responsibility. The galaxy had given me a choice, and now it had given me the means to act. Fear gnawed at the edges of my mind, but it was tempered by a strange exhilaration. We returned to the ship, and I looked at her. I asked if she believed I could truly lead. She smiled faintly, almost proud. "I do not believe," she said, "I know." That night, I stood on the observation deck, staring into the endless expanse of stars. I thought of Earth, my simple human life, and the lounge where it all began. And I realized that everything I had ever known, every struggle and every disappointment, had been preparation. I was no longer just a human trying to survive. I was a bridge between worlds, a catalyst for change. And the note she had given me, the tip that had seemed like a simple gesture of kindness, had been the first step toward this destiny. I could still feel the glow of its words in my mind. You are not who you think you are. And now I understood its meaning fully. I was more than a survivor, more than a human, more than an alien. I was a force that could reshape the galaxy itself. The billionaire alien woman joined me at the observation deck, her presence calm but commanding. The stars reflected in her eyes, and I knew she had seen everything I was capable of. We did not speak, for words were unnecessary. Together, we watched the horizon of infinite possibilities. And I realized that the galaxy would never be the same. Not because of conquest, not because of war, but because of choice. And for the first time, I felt ready to embrace it fully. The moment came sooner than I expected. A distress signal reached the ship in the dead of what would have been night on Earth. It was a small colony on the edge of a neutral system, caught in the crossfire between two rival factions. The billionaire alien woman turned to me, her expression unreadable. "This is your first decision," she said. I felt my stomach twist. All the training, all the visions, all the warnings, they led to this. I could intervene and risk angering both factions, or wait and let the colony be crushed. The weight of countless lives pressed on my shoulders. I activated the command key she had given me, feeling its power hum through my veins. Every instinct I had learned surged forward, guiding me. I maneuvered our ship into a strategic position, cloaked and silent. I sent calculated signals to redirect energy fields, creating shields around the colony. I transmitted warnings to both factions, revealing just enough of our position to force them to halt. It was delicate, a balance of deception, diplomacy, and force. Sweat beaded on my forehead as I anticipated each reaction. Seconds stretched into eternity. Then slowly, the attackers withdrew. The colony remained intact. I exhaled, a sound I did not realize I had been holding. She appeared beside me, placing a hand on my shoulder. "You made the right choice," she said. "But there is more to this than victory." I turned to her, confused. "Every choice has consequences," she explained. "Some will see you as a savior, others as a threat. And not all of them will wait politely. The galaxy watches, tests, and judges." I nodded, understanding that this was only the beginning. The first time I had acted alone, I realized the full scale of what I had become. I was not just following orders or learning lessons. I was shaping the future, even if it terrified me. The colony sent messages of gratitude that reached me across vast distances. For the first time, I felt a connection, a responsibility beyond Earth, beyond humanity, beyond even her guidance. I understood what it meant to be the bridge species she had saved me to be. And I knew that my next decision would not be easier. It would demand courage, wisdom, and the willingness to bear burdens no one else could understand. As the ship moved toward the next system, the stars stretched endlessly before us. I realized that the galaxy was not just a place of conflict. It was a canvas, and I held the brush. With every heartbeat, every choice, I would paint the story of what it meant to be human and alien together.